You guys fired up for the draft now? You've done 2 draft shows up there with the .com folks, right, at Frisco?
I have, yes. I've joined the crew there with Brian and Kyle Yeomans and Aisha and Bobby, and it's been an absolute blast. Had a lot of fun the last 2 days.
Right on. Well, I know a lot of Tolos always look forward to that and y'all's draft coverage. We start with Mel Kiper, draft expert, who used to be the king of the media mock drafters, and now people like what he has to say, but his credibility in the pecking order has slipped significantly. He's always entertaining, though. Mel Kiper says with the 26th pick in the NFL draft, the Cowboys will take Bijan Robinson, saying this just makes sense, right? Jerry loves star running backs, going back to taking Emmett in round 1 and 90, and has repeatedly said Zeke is the Cowboys' most important player. Guys, Bijan Robinson, would you love it or hate it? Wolchuk.
I'd love it. He's the best back in the draft. At 26, you're getting an absolute steal of a player in terms of talent to where you're picking him. He is a guy that you're not going to have to worry about the position for the next 5 years. He's an absolute bell cow. He's a 3-down player. He can help you not only in the run game but in the passing game as well. He's one of those rare talents that we've seen come out in terms of guys like the Gurleys, the Zekes, the Barkleys, and hell, he might even be the best of the bunch when we talk about some of these specialty players. So I absolutely love Bijan Robinson, the Texas kid. We've all gotten to see him play. He's special, and he'd answer a big-time need, and you could then move on and say goodbye from Pollard and Zeke and start a new era at running back.
Yeah, I think Zach's got the player exactly right as far as the ability and all that. I kind of look at that pick as one of those that if you got down to that point, he's going to be the best player on my board. He's one of the top. I've only got 20 first-round grades. That would mean that I would have a first-round player that I'd be able to take, at 26. That's usually when you start to get down into second-round grades. I like the idea that I think the next round in the second, it would set me up to where I think the corner draft is going to stretch. So I'm going to get the best player, the one that can help my quarterback, help my line, help my team win games. But then in the second round, I'm kind of looking at these cornerbacks because I don't really trust the wide receivers in this group when I start to get down. I think my top wide receivers are all going to be gone when you get to 26.
Okay.
Now, maybe the offensive lineman would make a sense there, but that would be the best player on my board.
T. Loves from our esteemed panel. 817 says they'd rather have TCU's Miller. And it's always interesting, it's like Jadeveon Clowney and Tank Lawrence. All the rage was about Jadeveon and a guy who grew up right down the road. And Tank Lawrence ended up having a significantly better NFL career. So, that's something we'll definitely be tracking. And maybe Miller is the player they'd be interested in later on in the draft. Okay, would you love, as we go now to BuckyBrooksNFL.com, he's looking to find a partner for 2-time Pro Bowler Trayvon Diggs. And it's imperative after watching this CB2 struggle this season. He's going with your guy from Maryland, cornerback Deonte Banks. Love it or hate it, Brian?
I absolutely love that pick right there. To me, that was one of the ones that I was worried about because, if I was worried that he was probably not going to get to me on these. We'll see what happens. We've got the combine. You'll get all the times, the speeds for these guys. You'll get the short shuttles, the 3 cones. Everything about it. Well, this guy is just ideal size for a corner. He's 6 foot. He's 207 pounds. He's a good job of locating the ball. He's never late getting his head around. He can play man coverage. He can play zone. I feel like man is his best trait. This guy doesn't labor to run or move at all. I mean, he stays in really good position. Got really good ball skills as well. I love the pick.
Dang, that does sound wonderful, Wolchuk. You love it too?
Yeah, I love him. He's not one of my top corners, but at 26, I think you're going to have a run on these guys, and if you're able to snag him, I think that'd be a great player, and he'd be a solid number 2 guy. I think he plays the boundary really well in terms of being able to use the sideline to his advantage, runs well, gives up some plays underneath, but I think Deonte Banks is a heck of a player. I'd love him at 26.
Okay, it's some NFL mock draft, love it or hate it here. We're on the Cowboys picks here, and we go to Pro Football Focus. They're looking for a wide receiver.
Okay.
Saying this guy brings the kind of juice the Cowboys were missing in 2022. His ability to take the top off the defense is second to none in the draft class. 677 yards on deep ball catches, led all of college football. We go to Tennessee, where Jalen Hyatt is standing by. You love that one too, Wolchuk?
Yeah, give me Jalen Hyatt. Now, I don't know if he's going to be there at 26 because you've got 4 guys that are first-round receivers. I don't, and that doesn't include Zay Flowers because I don't think the Cowboys are going to take Zay Flowers because he's too small, even though I'm a big fan of his. But I'd be all about Jalen Hyatt. Now, he's long. He's a long strider. But Jalen Hyatt's one of these guys, you're going to watch other players when you're watching Tennessee play, and all you're noticing is Jalen Hyatt making play after play after play. You want to add some speed. You want to add some playmaking down the field. Jalen Hyatt's your guy. Maybe he benefited from the type of offense they ran in Tennessee, but I'm a big fan of Jalen Hyatt.
Yeah, this guy when you look at Jalen Hyatt, he is, and Zach's right, he's a lean guy. He's 6 foot. He's 195 pounds. He's explosive. He's likely to run in the 4.3s at the combine next week.
Go.
And so, but you talk about a vertical player. This guy's got the length to stretch for any ball. I mean, they Hendon Hooker, the quarterback there at Tennessee, I think did a heck of a job of getting him the football down the field. He's a super explosive player. He would help any offense he was a part of.
Okay, we continue now, and have we found a single pick you guys would hate so far? Are they letting these guys slip? You think? How many of those guys would actually be there at 26?
I kind of feel like though that if you do it the right way, I don't think the runner's going to be there.
Me either.
I don't feel like Hyatt's going to be there, the wide receiver from Tennessee.
I think Banks could.
Banks, the cornerback from Maryland, I think you got a shot.
Okay, we go next here to Daniel Jeremiah, NFL.com, says this edge has inside-outside versatility, and I think he'll be one of the stars of next week's Combine. We go to G-Tech, where edge Keon White would love to put a star on his helmet. Would you guys like it?
Okay, so this is a guy that I like more than Brian does, I think. Now, I wouldn't like it at 26. I think this is a little too high for
little
White.
Little rich for your blood?
Little rich. But then again, you might be wiped here, and you might not have first-round picks. But I think this dude's got a good spin move now. He's got kind of that thick basketball build. He's a converted tight end to edge, and you can see that in the way that he's built. He's got a strong bull rush, good combination of power and speed off the edge. Seems like a guy that I think you could kick inside to rush on third downs as well, in my opinion. Shows the ability to split the guard and center and slant down the line to get tackles for loss in the run game. I thought his tape against North Carolina was really good. I think he's a high upside type of player, which you'd be looking at. So I could see scouts really falling in love with Keon White. I don't love this pick at 26, though. Not
a big fan of the pick myself, though, but I'd say what this guy is, he is a bully. And that's, when you watch him, he's a guy that can kind of beat up opponents. He's got a real nose for the ball. You're not going to fool him on plays. He can stay in position. He plays with leverage in the run game. I don't see a great pass rusher here, but if you want a guy that can kind of play the run better than he can play the pass, Keon White from Georgia Tech's your guy.
Okay, so you're ripping Daniel Jeremiah's press pass. That's the first press pass we're ripping there at the Combine. Get over here.
And he's a beast.
Former NFL scout as well. So it's the media scouts were like him more than the real scout, right?
Yeah, I suppose so. Okay, we go down the road here to Baylor and the nose tackle Siaki Ika? The Athletics' Dane Brugler and Walter Football both going with the big nose tackle out of Baylor for the Cowboys at 26 to help their run defense. I would love that personally, sight unseen, Wolchuk, but you're saying no?
No, thank you. I will pass on Ika there. I'm not taking him at 26. I think that is too high for me. I'd like him. I don't think he's a bad player. First round, though, I think you can do a little bit better than taking Ika. He's not a bad player by any means, but to me, 26 is just a little too high. I think there's better defensive tackles you can get later on in the draft.
I'll tell you what, however we evaluate these guys that are all 330 pounds or 340 pounds, these one techniques, that would be great for the Combine. I really do look forward to this. I think that if you're wiped out, this is a kind of the player that you would take. I don't know if the Cowboys would take a one technique at 26. Again, that's a second round grade for me on my board. But, man, this guy is super active the way that he does play. I love the way he competes. He's not going to let the blocker get the best of him. He's difficult to handle when going one-on-one. He's almost like a sumo wrestler in the way he comes off the ball because he just he slams into you and then he starts knocking guys back, and nobody's really able to kind of handle the power that this guy plays with. He's He is a transfer from LSU, and he's super, super hard to move.
We hit it.
I love the way he finishes.
He's an LSU transfer.
I had to get that in there for sure. But yeah, I do love the way he finishes plays.
He is. He's really wide, and he's got really good hands.
He's hard to move.
He's really smart when it comes to the screen game.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys. He's a really instinctive player. I mean, I like him, but I don't love him at 26.
Okay, we got to go lightning around here. Just tell me if you'd love it or hate this stuff here. We got the Clemson linebacker, Trenton Simpson. Have you looked at him? Chad Reuter, NFL.com, picking him to the Cowboys. You hate that?
Hate that pick.
Brian?
That would be a hard pick for me, too.
Okay, he hates you. You hear that? Clemson, it's like your Paul Dawson back in the day at TCU.
That dude's a bust.
How about tight end Dalton Kincaid out of Utah?
Oh, I love that. He's the best tight end in the draft, in my opinion.
I would take a couple others ahead of him.
It's fine. You're wrong.
Okay. How about the guard from Florida, Osiris Torrance?
I like that at 26. I think Torrance at 26 is a good pick.
He's going to look probably not very athletic when we watch the combine drills.
So you'd hate that? You wouldn't take him at 26?
No, I think to me though, if they're looking for the guard, he's the best guard on the board. Unless you want to say our guy from our center from Minnesota, Michael Smits.
John Michael Smits.
Yeah, John Michael Smits. If you want to play him at guard and move him at center at another time, that might be the route you go. But this guy's a mammoth guy, but he's going to look bad in the drills. I'm just telling you that right now.
You have Northwestern offensive lineman Peter Skoronsky from your crusty friends at the 33rd team, Brian, and then the Arkansas linebacker Drew Sanders from CBS's Chris Trapasso. Love, hate?
Skoronsky got all the way to Cowboys at 26.
You got the Cowboys 26 there.
Hand the card in.
Yeah, that'd be a love.
Yeah.
If he falls to 26, hell yes, sign me up. That's a safe pick. Drew Sanders, watched him at Denton Ryan, covered him there. Big fan of his. He's the best linebacker in the draft.
He can rush the passer.
Sure, I'm okay. I don't love it. I like it. That'd be okay.
I think I like it too. He's a first-round guy on my board.